Success Through Self-Discovery, written and published by Sonic Tome. There's a fire inside you that never stops burning, sometimes faint, sometimes roaring, but it's always there. The question is, are you aware of it? Can you feel it? More importantly, do you know how to keep it alive, even when life tries to smother it with doubt, distractions, and the mundane? This isn't just about motivation or fleeting inspiration. It's about something much deeper, something that's rooted in your core, waiting to be rediscovered. A purpose that goes beyond goals or ambitions, one that resonates with every fiber of your being. The truth is, most of us live our lives as if we've been handed a script written by someone else, playing roles that don't align with who we are, chasing paths that lead to destinations we never really chose. Somewhere along the way, the spark fades, and what we're left with is an echo of the life we could have lived, if only we had known how to follow the whispers of our own soul. But there's another way, a way to reconnect with that flame, to reignite it, and to let it guide you with unwavering clarity, to stop running after success as defined by someone else, and instead build a life that feels authentic, that feels like it's yours because it is. Imagine waking up every day with a clear sense of direction, knowing that the decisions you make are in harmony with who you are and where you're meant to go. Picture yourself walking through life with a steady internal compass that doesn't waver, regardless of the chaos swirling around you. What if your path wasn't something you stumbled upon by accident, but something you actively created? Something forged with intention, built on the foundation of your deepest values and your most authentic passions. The journey to this clarity isn't always easy. It requires letting go of the layers of noise that have built up around you, peeling back the masks you've worn to please others, and confronting the parts of yourself that you've buried under fear or doubt. But as you shed those layers, something incredible happens. You begin to uncover the truth of who you are. You start to see the threads of purpose that have been there all along, waiting for you to pull on them and let them guide you to your true path. This isn't just a process of change. It's a return to yourself, a rediscovery of what drives you, what excites you, what gives your life meaning. And when you tap into this, you unlock the power to move forward with unshakable confidence, to face challenges with resilience, and to create a future that is uniquely your own. This isn't about finding the answer in someone else's journey, or following a map that's already been drawn. This is about charting your own course, fueled by the inner knowing that you have everything you need to succeed, to grow, and to live fully. You don't need to search for it. It's already there, within you, just waiting to be acknowledged and embraced. Chapter 1. The Hidden Map Within. Each of us carries a unique map imprinted deep within our essence, a guide that whispers directions, reveals paths, and hints at destinations waiting to be discovered. This map isn't drawn on paper or etched in stone. It resides in the intricate labyrinth of our thoughts, emotions, and desires. It's neither static nor unchanging, but an evolving framework shaped by the interplay of our experiences, beliefs, and aspirations. The hidden map within doesn't unfold in a linear manner, nor does it come with instructions or guarantees. Its presence is subtle, often overshadowed by the noise of the external world. To uncover this map, you must silence distractions and turn inward. It requires stillness to perceive its outlines and courage to interpret its symbols. This inward journey is not a quest for perfection, but for clarity, a clarity that comes from understanding what drives you at the deepest level. Your map begins to take form through the questions you dare to ask yourself. What ignites your curiosity? What challenges compel you to rise beyond your perceived limitations? What moments have left indelible marks on your heart and mind? These questions act like landmarks, orienting you toward the compass points that matter most in your life. The contours of this map are defined not by the ease of your experiences, but by the meaning you assign to them. Every failure, every success, every crossroads adds depth and detail to this map. Pain sharpens its edges, joy brightens its contours, and reflection transforms its raw sketches into vivid landscapes. No one else can decipher it for you. for the language of this map is uniquely yours. Your instincts, often dismissed as fleeting or irrational, are like the winds that guide your sails. They arise not from nowhere but from the accumulated wisdom of your experiences and your subconscious understanding of your desires. Trust them, for they often lead you down roads that logic might deem unworthy, but are, in reality, rich with opportunity. The hidden map within also challenges the notion that success is a singular destination. Instead, it reveals that success is a journey marked by milestones. Each decision you make, each risk you take, and each step forward you muster up the courage for is a destination in itself. These moments, when you listen to your inner map, lead you to places where you grow, evolve, and find fulfillment. This map is not merely a tool for personal achievement, but a source of alignment. It ensures that the goals you pursue are in harmony with who you truly are. Misalignment leads to restlessness, a sense of chasing something distant or unimportant. Alignment, however, brings with it a feeling of flow, where your efforts feel meaningful and your achievements resonate with your soul. Understanding the hidden map within also requires recognizing its fluidity. It is not set in stone. Life will redraw its lines, erase certain parts, and add new dimensions as you move through time. Clinging to an outdated version of your map may leave you lost, unable to navigate the changes life inevitably brings. Instead, embrace its evolution. Each new challenge or opportunity is a chance to revisit your map and redefine its significance. Ultimately, this map is your most profound guide. A quiet, persistent reminder of your potential and purpose. It demands self-trust, an openness to growth, and a willingness to walk paths that may not always be clear, but promise to be rewarding. The hidden map within is not only the key to your achievements, but also the doorway to understanding the truest version of yourself. Chapter 2. Echoes of the Past. The past is not a silent observer of your life. It is an active participant, shaping the choices you make and the aspirations you hold, often without you realizing it. Every moment you've lived through, every triumph, every setback, has left behind an imprint, an echo that reverberates through the chambers of your mind and heart. These echoes are not just fleeting reminders. They are the foundation of who you are and what you strive to become. Your past is a mosaic of moments, and each piece contributes to the bigger picture of your aspirations. Some of these moments carry joy, laughter, and success. They become the fuel that propels you forward, whispering, "You've done this before. You can do it again." Others are marked by failure, pain, or regret, and while these might seem like shadows to avoid, they hold a profound power. They serve as reminders of your resilience, proof that you've weathered storms and come out stronger on the other side. Memories from the past act as unseen guides. They influence the way you perceive challenges, the risks you are willing to take, and the goals you dare to pursue. A moment of encouragement from years ago might instill a quiet confidence that pushes you to try something new. Conversely, a past failure might create a hesitancy that makes certain paths feel insurmountable. Recognizing these influences is not about erasing them, but about understanding them. When you bring them to light, you gain the ability to consciously decide how they will shape your future. The echoes of your past are not just about individual experiences, but also about patterns. Consider the choices you've made repeatedly over time. What do they reveal about your deepest desires or fears? Perhaps there's a recurring dream you've chased, even when circumstances suggested otherwise. Or maybe there's a fear that has consistently held you back, rooted in a single painful moment from long ago. These patterns hold clues, pointing to the internal narratives that govern your life. Sometimes the most powerful echoes are not your own, but those handed down to you. The beliefs of your family, the values of your community, and the lessons taught by those you admired all contribute to the chorus of voices that influence your direction. These inherited echoes can be empowering, but they can also confine you to a path that doesn't align with your true self. Distinguishing between the echoes that reflect your own desires and those that are remnants of someone else's dreams is an essential step in crafting a life that feels authentic. The past also leaves behind silent agreements, unspoken commitments you've made with yourself based on what you've experienced. Perhaps you've promised yourself never to trust easily after a betrayal. Or maybe you've resolved to always say yes to opportunities because of a chance you once missed. These agreements, though often unexamined, hold immense sway over the decisions you make today. By identifying these silent contracts, you regain the power to renegotiate them, deciding which to honor and which to let go. It's important to remember that the past is not a static force. It is fluid, capable of being reinterpreted and redefined. Two people can look back on the same event and derive entirely different lessons depending on their perspective. This means you have the ability to reshape the echoes of your past, turning even the most painful memories into sources of strength. You can decide that a failure was not a sign of inadequacy, but a lesson in perseverance. You can choose to see a difficult childhood not as a limitation, but as a testament to your ability to rise above challenges. When you truly understand how the echoes of the past influence your present, you gain a powerful advantage. You no longer act out of habit or unconscious influence. Instead, you step into the driver's seat, using the lessons of your past as tools to carve out your future. The past becomes a resource, a wellspring of wisdom and experience that you can draw upon as you navigate the complexities of life. Chapter 3. Breaking the Mirrors. There's a certain comfort in the reflections we see when we look into a mirror, especially the ones we've held up to ourselves for years. These reflections, however, can sometimes become distorted, a trick of light and shadow that obscures our true potential. The images we see are not always a clear representation of who we are. They are shaped by the beliefs, expectations, and judgments we've internalized over time. They are a mosaic of past experiences, societal pressures, and self-imposed limitations. But what if these reflections were not truths, but merely constructs we've built to make sense of our world? Every time you look into the mirror, you see a version of yourself that may or may not be aligned with who you truly are. The reflection staring back at you often carries the weight of your insecurities, doubts, and fears. It can reflect an image of someone who isn't capable, someone who is stuck, someone who is limited by circumstances. But these reflections are just that, images. They are not the essence of who you are. They are snapshots of a moment in time, frozen in a frame, but they do not capture the full picture of your potential. To break these mirrors is not to deny your past or your challenges, but to recognize that your worth is not confined to what you see when you look at your reflection. The images you've been conditioned to believe are truths are not immutable. They are stories you've told yourself, stories that can be rewritten, reframed, and reinterpreted. The mirrors you need to break are often the ones you've created yourself. It's the internal narrative that says, "I'm not good enough," or "I've failed before, so I will fail again." These thoughts are mirrors that hold you captive in a version of yourself that's small, limited, and fearful. Breaking these mirrors is about liberating yourself from these self-imposed cages. It's about choosing to see yourself through a new lens, one that reflects not only your past, but also your capacity for growth, change, and limitless possibility. Challenging these reflections means stepping outside of the box you've been placed in, either by others or by your own subconscious design. It's recognizing that your potential is not determined by what you've done before, but by what you are willing to do next. The person who failed in the past is not the person who will fail in the future. The person who doubted their worth is not the person who will doubt themselves forever. These mirrors are merely temporary distortions that can be shattered the moment you choose to break free from them. Shifting your perspective requires a willingness to see yourself in a completely new light. It means embracing the discomfort of change and the unknown. When you break the mirrors, you let go of the self-limiting beliefs that have kept you tethered to a narrow understanding of who you are. You allow yourself to be seen in your fullness, not as a reflection of what has been, but as a projection of what could be. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to stop measuring your worth by external standards. The mirror doesn't reflect your inner strength, your unique qualities, or your capacity for love and kindness. It doesn't show your creativity, your resilience, or your potential to make an impact in the world. These are dimensions of you that cannot be captured by any mirror, yet they are the essence of who you are. When you break the mirror, you stop relying on external validation and begin to cultivate an internal sense of worth, a self-assurance that doesn't require the approval or judgment of others. In doing so, you stop limiting yourself by past failures or by the expectations of those around you. Breaking the mirrors opens up space for new possibilities. You stop seeing yourself through the lens of your past mistakes and start seeing yourself as someone capable of growth, change, and transformation. Every time you challenge an old belief, you fracture the mirror a little more. And with each fracture, the reflection becomes clearer, more authentic, and more aligned with your true self. In essence, breaking the mirrors is about freeing yourself from the confines of a narrow self-concept. It's about realizing that the reflection you've been staring at isn't the final word on who you are. You are far more than the image that's been cast back at you. You are the sum of all your experiences, your desires, your dreams, and your potential. And when you break those mirrors, you allow yourself to see that potential fully, no longer bound by the images of who you think you should be, but free to become who you truly are. Chapter 4: The Whispering Compass. In a world filled with noise and distraction, it's easy to overlook the subtle signals that guide us toward our true purpose. Yet these quiet whispers are there, embedded deep within us, quietly pointing the way forward. They don't shout for attention like urgent alarms or flashing lights, but rather they hum in the background, nudging us, calling us to listen. These whispers, often felt as a gut instinct, an intuitive pull, or a fleeting thought, are the compass of your soul, offering direction when the path ahead feels unclear. The key to navigating life with clarity is learning to tune into these whispers. They come not as commands, but as gentle suggestions, like a soft breeze that redirects a sailboat's course. They don't demand immediate action, but invite reflection. It's easy to dismiss these nudges, to think of them as random or inconsequential. But the truth is that your instincts are finely tuned to the rhythm of your own life, shaped by everything you've experienced, learned, and felt. They are the accumulation of your deepest truths, your values, your desires, whispers of what resonates most with the core of who you are. These instincts aren't simply fleeting emotional reactions to external events. They are rooted in something much deeper. They arise from the very essence of your being, shaped by the beliefs, desires, and wisdom that exist within you. When you make the effort to quiet the noise of daily life, to sit with yourself, to let go of external expectations, the compass of your intuition becomes clear. It reveals a path not in bold, straight lines, but in meandering, gentle turns that seem to emerge with ease once you've opened yourself to them. There is a profound wisdom in these whispers. They can guide you when you are faced with choices that seem daunting, or when the future is shrouded in uncertainty. Often, the path you are meant to take doesn't always look like the most straightforward one. It may not even make sense to others, or it might defy the logic that's been conditioned into you. But if you listen closely to the whispers within, you will realize that they lead you toward alignment, toward a place where your actions resonate with your deepest values and desires. The more you pay attention to them, the stronger and clearer they become. At times, these whispers might come disguised as small moments of discomfort or unease, signaling that something is out of sync with your true path. They may come in the form of a gut feeling that something isn't quite right, or a subtle discomfort that you can't quite place. These are the moments when your inner compass is urging you to recalibrate. Rather than ignoring or resisting these sensations, they offer the opportunity to pause and reassess. What is it that feels off? What is the deeper message beneath the surface? The whispering compass also has the power to guide you toward opportunities that align with your purpose, even when they seem unfamiliar or risky. It may pull you toward something that doesn't appear to fit within the confines of what you know. But this is often a sign that you're being called to grow, to step beyond what feels comfortable, and to embrace the unknown. These moments are invitations to expand, to follow an intuitive urge towards something that could be the breakthrough you've been waiting for. It's important to realize that these whispers are not always loud or immediate. They often emerge in moments of stillness, in the quiet of the early morning, or in the calm that comes after a difficult decision. They aren't things you can force, but rather experiences you allow to unfold. The more you practice listening to them, the more you come to recognize the delicate ways in which they show up in your life. Whether through a sudden idea, a moment of clarity, or an overwhelming sense of peace. Your intuition doesn't require force or effort to be understood. It requires presence. It asks you to slow down, to step out of the constant rush, and to tune into the parts of you that are often drowned out by the busyness of life. In learning to listen to these internal cues, you move from a place of reaction to a place of intention. You stop following the chaotic currents of life and begin to steer your own course. When you align with this quiet inner guide, the noise around you becomes less significant. The loud opinions of others, the pressures of external success, and the expectations you've carried all your life fade into the background. In their place, there is a sense of calm clarity, a quiet confidence that comes from knowing that you are following the guidance of something much deeper than the immediate demands of the world. Your whispering compass is always there, always waiting, but it's up to you to tune in, to be willing to listen, and to trust the path it points to. It may not always be easy, and it may not always make sense, but it will always lead you in the direction of your truth. The more you learn to trust these whispers, the more you align with your purpose, and the more effortlessly your path unfolds. Chapter 5. Threads of Identity. Your identity is not a single static thing. It's a tapestry woven from countless threads, each one representing an experience, belief, value, or moment in time that has shaped who you are. These threads, some thin and others thick, appear throughout your life, connecting different points, interlacing the past with the present, and continuously guiding you toward your future. It's in the recognition of these threads that the fullness of your purpose begins to emerge. Often we spend much of our lives trying to define ourselves through a singular lens. We may describe ourselves by our job, our accomplishments, or the roles we play in society. But these are only fragments of the larger picture. The core of who you are lies deeper, within the intricate weaving of experiences, choices, relationships, and dreams that shape your identity. These threads are like whispers from your past, echoing through your present, shaping your future in ways that may not always be visible on the surface. When you pause to examine your identity, you begin to see the different strands of your life intertwining. One thread may be the lessons learned from challenges faced, those moments when the world seemed to collapse and yet, you rose again. Another thread could be the values instilled in you from family, culture, or personal belief. These values don't always come in the form of words. They often manifest in the way you navigate the world, the way you treat others, and the way you carry yourself even in the quietest of moments. These threads are powerful because they aren't merely things you've learned. They are parts of you stitched into the very fabric of your being. There are threads of dreams too, your desires, your aspirations, the things you have always felt drawn to, but perhaps never fully understood. These threads are like stars on a map, showing you the direction, even when the road ahead seems foggy. They may be subtle, almost imperceptible at first, but when you look back at your life, you can see how they have always been there, quietly pulling you toward something greater. These dreams have roots in your soul, extending far beyond the temporary distractions of life. They are there to remind you that your purpose is not just a destination. It is a journey, a process of constant self-discovery and growth. As you explore these threads, you also come across those woven from your relationships. Every person you encounter leaves an imprint, a tiny piece of their own thread, weaving in and out of your life. Some threads are colorful and vibrant, representing love, support, and shared experiences. Others may be darker, representing conflict, pain, or loss. But even these threads serve a purpose. They show you your resilience, your capacity to heal, and your ability to change. Each relationship, whether positive or negative, contributes to your evolution, pushing you toward a deeper understanding of yourself. There are threads of passion and purpose too, those moments when something stirs deep inside you, calling you to act, to create, to make a difference. These threads often reveal the most about your true nature, because they are not influenced by external expectations or the opinions of others. They come from a deeper source, a part of you that knows exactly who you are meant to be, if only you listen closely enough. Sometimes the threads that define us are the ones we've tried to avoid or repress. We all have moments, experiences, and aspects of ourselves that we'd rather forget. These are the threads we think are weak, or that don't fit neatly into the picture of who we want to be. But even these threads have value. They offer the potential for growth, for healing, and for understanding the parts of ourselves that need to be nurtured. These overlooked threads are often the ones that lead to the most profound insights about who we are and why we are here. When you begin to weave together the various threads of your identity, you realize that none of them are independent of one another. Each thread is connected, often in ways you might not fully understand at first. They come together to form a pattern, a design that reflects your truest self. Your identity isn't something that can be reduced to a single story or a single moment. It's the ongoing process of understanding how all these threads come together, how they support each other, and how they fuel the greater purpose of your life. To embrace these threads is to embrace all that you are. It is an acceptance of the complexities, the contradictions, and the richness of your being. You are not one-dimensional. You are a collection of experiences, desires, values, and lessons that are continuously evolving. And just as a tapestry becomes more beautiful and meaningful as the threads intertwine, so too does your life become more purposeful, as you recognize how all the different aspects of your identity shape your journey. In the end, it is not about finding a singular, fixed identity. It is about embracing the fluidity, the complexity, and the interconnectedness of all the threads that make up who you are. Your purpose is not just something you discover, it is something you create, thread by thread, moment by moment. Chapter 6. Shadows and Light. Life isn't defined by the extremes. It's shaped by the dance between light and shadow. Every moment of growth is born from the tension between these forces, the interplay between confidence and doubt, certainty and uncertainty. These dual forces are not opposites, they are two sides of the same coin. To move through life with resilience, you must learn to balance them, not as opposing entities, but as complementary parts of the same journey. Doubt is often viewed as a hindrance, a dark cloud that looms over the path ahead. It's that voice in your head telling you that you're not enough, not ready, or not capable. It whispers that failure is inevitable, that every step you take could lead to disaster. But doubt, in its raw form, is not your enemy. It's a reflection of your awareness, your understanding of the stakes. It's an invitation to look deeper, to consider the consequences of your actions, and to take responsibility for the direction you choose. Embracing doubt doesn't mean surrendering to it. It means recognizing it as part of the natural process of growth. Every time you confront it, you strengthen your ability to move forward with clarity, even in the face of uncertainty. Confidence, on the other hand, is the light that cuts through the darkness. It's the belief that you have the strength, wisdom, and ability to face challenges head-on. It's not about arrogance or an inflated sense of self. It's a grounded sense of trust in your capacity to navigate the world. Confidence comes from experience, from having weathered storms and come out on the other side. It's the inner knowing that no matter what happens, you have the resilience to rise again. But confidence, too, can become overwhelming if it's not tempered with humility. When unchecked, it can lead to overconfidence, and with that comes a disregard for the complexities of life. The key is to let your confidence shine without allowing it to blind you to the nuances that exist in every situation. To build a resilient mindset, you must learn to live with both the shadows and the light. The moments of doubt teach you to slow down, to question your choices, and to refine your approach. They force you to examine your motivations, to consider where your beliefs and values align, and where they may need adjustment. Doubt makes you aware of your vulnerabilities, but it also helps you identify areas of strength that you might have overlooked. When you accept doubt as a natural part of your mental landscape, it no longer holds you hostage. Instead, it becomes a tool, a means of sharpening your understanding and resilience. Confidence, on the other hand, acts as the fuel that propels you forward. It's the spark that ignites action, the belief that, even in the face of challenges, you can figure things out. But confidence isn't just about trusting your abilities. It's about trusting the process of growth itself. It's the knowing that you don't have to have all the answers right now, but that each step, however small, takes you closer to the person you are becoming. Confidence is a quiet trust in the journey, in the fact that, even when you can't see the road ahead, it's being built beneath your feet. The key to resilience lies not in avoiding doubt or clinging too tightly to confidence, but in learning how to hold both in harmony. There are times when the shadows will be long, when doubt will cloud your vision, and you may feel uncertain about every step you take. But it is in these moments that your confidence can shine the brightest. Trusting in the balance between these two forces is what enables you to continue forward, step by uncertain step, knowing that both doubt and confidence have their rightful place in your journey. Resilience doesn't come from denying the shadows. It comes from learning how to step into them, understanding that even in the darkest moments, there is a glimmer of light waiting to emerge. When you can sit with doubt without letting it paralyze you, and act with confidence even when the outcome is unclear, you are building a mindset that will carry you through any challenge. The ability to move fluidly between doubt and confidence allows you to embrace life's complexities with grace and strength, knowing that the dance between light and shadow is not only inevitable, it's essential for your growth. Chapter 7. The Unseen Connections. There is an invisible web that connects each of us, an intricate network of experiences, emotions, and interactions that shape who we are and the paths we take. This web is not just a metaphor for our relationships with others, but also a reflection of the inner dynamics we hold within ourselves. Every connection we make, whether with another person, an opportunity, or even our own deeper motivations, carries a ripple effect that can transform our lives in ways we may never immediately understand. These unseen connections are foundational to success, yet they often operate beneath the surface of our everyday awareness. At the core of this intricate network is self-awareness. Self-awareness is the lens through which we view and interpret the world. It is our internal compass, guiding us as we navigate the complex terrain of relationships, career choices, and personal growth. When we are deeply in tune with ourselves, we understand the undercurrents that influence our emotions, decisions, and actions. This awareness is what allows us to discern patterns in our lives and recognize the subtle shifts that indicate new opportunities or challenges on the horizon. It isn't enough to just know ourselves on a surface level. True self-awareness is about understanding our motivations, fears, desires, and the often unspoken narratives that drive our behavior. As we deepen our self-awareness, the impact of our relationships becomes more apparent. Our connections with others, whether in the form of friends, colleagues, mentors, or even adversaries, are reflections of the unseen connections within ourselves. The way we interact with others is shaped by how we feel about ourselves, what we believe we are capable of, and what we unconsciously expect from the world around us. When we are unsure of our own value or unsure of our path, those doubts tend to manifest in our relationships. We may project insecurity, creating a dynamic where we attract people who reinforce those fears, or we may push people away out of fear of vulnerability. However, when we are rooted in a clear understanding of who we are, we begin to form relationships based on mutual respect and alignment, rather than need or insecurity. It's not just about how we interact with others on the surface. It's about the energetic exchange that occurs beneath the surface. These deeper connections are what fuel long-lasting success. When we are aware of our own strengths and weaknesses, we engage with others in ways that are more authentic and powerful. Our interactions become more meaningful because we are no longer acting out of fear, but from a place of trust in ourselves and the people around us. Every relationship, whether personal or professional, is a mirror. It reflects back to us parts of ourselves that we may not always see. The way we show up in these relationships reveals something about how we perceive ourselves. Do we approach others with openness and curiosity, or with defensiveness and doubt? Are we quick to judge and criticize, or are we patient and understanding? These questions are keys to unlocking the full potential of our relationships. It's not enough to simply surround ourselves with people who support us. We must also be willing to allow our relationships to challenge us. True success often comes when we are able to use our relationships as a mirror to see beyond our own limitations, to discover where we might grow and evolve. The most powerful connections are those that enable us to move beyond our limitations and step into new versions of ourselves. It's easy to be comfortable in relationships that affirm who we already are, but the real growth happens when we engage with others who challenge our perspectives and push us to think differently. Success isn't built in isolation. It is cultivated in the rich soil of diverse interactions and shared experiences. The energy of those around us has a profound effect on our own energy, and when we are aligned with people who encourage our highest potential, our own possibilities expand. It's also important to understand that the strongest connections aren't always the loudest or most obvious ones. Sometimes, the quiet moments of support, the unspoken encouragement from someone who simply believes in you, can make all the difference. These are the subtle energies that often get overlooked in the rush to achieve outward success, but they are the ones that hold the foundation steady when the storms of life come. What we often fail to realize is that relationships are not just about what we give or receive. They are about the flow of energy between two people, two entities, or even within a team. The more attuned we are to the energy we bring into these interactions, the more we can shape the outcome. This is why self-awareness is so important. It allows us to be aware of the energy we are contributing to a situation. Are we bringing positivity, openness, and understanding? Or are we projecting fear, defensiveness, and insecurity? The more we are in tune with our own internal state, the more we are able to intentionally cultivate the kinds of relationships that propel us toward success. By recognizing and nurturing the unseen connections, those quiet, energetic exchanges that happen beneath the surface, we lay the groundwork for lasting success. These connections are woven through every conversation, every action, and every decision. They form the fabric of our lives, creating the support system that allows us to grow, evolve, and achieve our highest potential. In the end, our success is not solely determined by what we do, but by the invisible network of relationships that support us, challenge us, and help us evolve into who we are meant to be. Chapter 8. A Canvas of Choices. Life is a blank canvas stretched out before you, waiting to be filled with the vibrant strokes of your decisions. Each choice you make is like a brushstroke, creating a unique picture of who you are, where you've been, and where you are going. Yet too often, we find ourselves standing before that canvas with uncertainty, wondering if we're choosing the right colors, the right path, or the right patterns for our future. But in reality, the beauty of this canvas lies in its fluidity. Nothing is permanent, and the picture is always in the process of becoming. Your decisions are the strokes that shape your life. Every single choice, no matter how small, leaves its mark. Think of a moment where you had to make a decision. Maybe it was deciding to take a job, start a new relationship, or make a personal commitment. In that moment, it wasn't just the action that mattered. It was the intention behind it. You weren't just picking one option over another. You were selecting a direction, aligning yourself with a version of yourself you wanted to bring into being. The real power in these decisions lies not in their immediate outcomes, but in the long-term consequences of the path they carve. As you begin to understand this concept, you realize that the choices you make are never isolated. They connect, layer upon layer, weaving a narrative of your life. Just as an artist steps back to assess their work in progress, so must you periodically step back to reflect on the trajectory of your decisions. Are the brushstrokes aligning with your deeper vision, or are they straying from the path you want to take? When we live reactively, responding to external pressures or fleeting desires, we let the brushstrokes run wild, creating a chaotic and fragmented image. But when we make decisions with purpose, when we choose deliberately and with clarity, we begin to craft a masterpiece, one that aligns with our deepest values and aspirations. This canvas is not limited by the colors you think you have available. It's shaped by your mindset, your willingness to take risks, and your openness to growth. There is an expansive range of choices before you, just as there are limitless colors for an artist to explore. Too often, we limit ourselves by thinking that we only have a few paths to choose from, or that we can only follow what's familiar. But life doesn't work in black and white. There are infinite shades in between, waiting for you to explore. Each of these choices is a potential shift, a chance to add a new hue to the canvas, creating a life that is more colorful, more dynamic, and uniquely yours. The fear of making the wrong decision can paralyze us, but it's important to recognize that there's no such thing as a perfect choice. Every decision is an opportunity for growth, an invitation to learn something new about yourself and the world around you. The beauty of the canvas is that it's not static, it's constantly evolving. If you make a choice and it doesn't go as planned, you have the ability to adjust, to paint over mistakes, or to add new elements that create a more refined version of your vision. It's not about getting everything right the first time. It's about continually refining, adjusting, and evolving the picture to reflect your truest self. Sometimes, the most significant shifts in life come from decisions that appear insignificant in the moment. A small choice to take a different route, engage in a new activity, or even change a thought pattern can have ripple effects that alter the entire course of your life. These decisions are often the most powerful because they tap into the energy of possibility, embracing the unknown and the new. They expand your horizons and encourage you to think beyond what you've already done or what you think you're capable of. This is why it's important to give yourself permission to be bold with your choices. Don't shy away from decisions that feel risky or uncertain. Those are often the ones that lead to the most profound transformations. When you push yourself to step outside of your comfort zone, you open yourself to new opportunities, new perspectives, and new experiences. You allow your canvas to become a true representation of who you are becoming, not just who you've been. And with each new choice, you begin to discover more about your purpose and what truly drives you. Your decisions also impact those around you. As you shape your own canvas, you inadvertently inspire others to pick up their brushes and start creating their own life's masterpiece. The energy of deliberate, purposeful decision-making is contagious. It spreads to the people you interact with, encouraging them to take ownership of their own choices, to stop living passively, and to begin crafting their own vision for the future. In this way, the choices you make don't just define your life. They can be the spark that encourages others to step into their power too. But with every choice comes a responsibility to listen to your inner voice, to trust your intuition, and to act in alignment with your values. It's easy to get caught up in the noise of external expectations, but the true power of your decisions lies in your ability to listen to yourself and to choose from a place of inner wisdom. When you make decisions from this centered space, the outcome is less about achieving external success and more about creating a life that feels true to who you are. As you stand before this canvas, ready to fill it with the colors of your choices, remember that each decision is a brushstroke that shapes not only your future, but also the person you are becoming. Your canvas is yours to create, one choice at a time, so choose wisely, boldly, and with full awareness of the power each stroke holds. Chapter 9. Winds of Change. Change is as natural as the air we breathe, yet so many resist it, cling to the familiar, and try to control the winds that shape the course of their lives. But in truth, change is a constant companion, sweeping through every moment, offering new opportunities for growth, transformation, and renewal. It's not something to fear, nor something to avoid. It's the force that shapes our lives in ways we can't always predict, but can always influence. To stay aligned with your evolving goals, it's not about trying to fight against the current of change. It's about learning to ride its waves, letting it guide you toward the future you are meant to create. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, the wind tousling your hair, the horizon stretching out before you. The winds of change are like that ocean breeze, sometimes gentle and soothing, sometimes strong and forceful, but always present. Just as the ocean shifts in response to the wind, so too do your life's circumstances ebb and flow with change. In the same way that the tides aren't predictable, the changes in life often come unexpectedly. But unlike the sea, you have the power to adjust your sails. You have the power to harness the wind and steer your course, or you can let it carry you toward the unknown. Staying aligned with your goals during periods of change requires an openness to transformation. The winds of change often come to shake things up, to disrupt the patterns that no longer serve you. But rather than seeing these disruptions as threats, recognize them as opportunities to realign with your true desires. When everything feels unsettled, it's often because something better is waiting just beyond the current turbulence. This is where you find your strength, not in resisting the winds, but in trusting that they are carrying you in the right direction. It's easy to think we must have everything planned out in exact detail, but life rarely follows a perfect roadmap. What we need isn't a rigid plan, but a sense of direction and the courage to move with the winds as they come. In periods of calm, when the winds are still and it feels like nothing is moving forward, it's important to trust that the stillness is just as powerful as the storm. The quiet moments of reflection, introspection, and observation are as much a part of the journey as the moments of action. Like the calm before a storm, this is a time to prepare, to reconsider your goals, adjust your expectations, and reaffirm your commitment to your vision. During these times, you might feel uncertain about which way to go, but remember that change never stops, and soon the wind will pick up again, bringing new momentum. It's in these moments of stillness that you must learn to trust yourself and the process of life itself. The wind will return, and you will be ready. What's vital to understand is that the winds of change don't discriminate. They blow for everyone. Some might try to avoid them or resist them, but ultimately, no one can outrun them. The key is to understand that change is not a punishment or a random event. It's part of the flow of life. If you try to stand still in the face of change, you'll feel exhausted, overwhelmed, and out of sync with the world around you. But when you allow yourself to be guided by the flow, you become part of a larger, more powerful rhythm. You will, no doubt, experience times when the winds are too fierce, when life feels like a storm is raging, throwing you off course. These are the times when your resilience is tested. In moments like these, you may feel as though you're losing control, but it's in these moments that you must trust that you have the strength to weather the storm. You have already navigated rough seas in the past, and you will do so again. In fact, it's in the midst of these challenges that you often grow the most. It's when we feel we're on the brink of being swept away that we discover a deep inner strength we never knew existed. Equally important, though, is recognizing that not all winds of change are disruptive. Some can feel like a gentle breeze, guiding you toward new opportunities, new relationships, and new ways of thinking. These shifts may be subtle at first, but they can lead to significant transformations if you are open to them. Pay attention to the small nudges, the new thoughts that surface, the sudden opportunities that appear, the shifts in your feelings that direct you toward something different. These moments are just as important as the loud storms because they have the potential to lead you to your next phase of growth. Ultimately, embracing the winds of change means acknowledging that life is in constant motion, and so are you. It's about giving yourself permission to evolve, to change your mind, to reassess your goals, and to recognize that you don't need to have everything figured out right now. You just need to trust that you are capable of adapting. The more you learn to listen to the winds, the more you trust in your ability to move with them, the more you'll find yourself in alignment with your truest purpose. It's in that space of alignment, where you no longer resist change, but flow with it, that you become the creator of your life's journey, not just a passenger. As you navigate the winds of change, remember that you are never alone in this journey. Every person you meet, every experience you have, every moment of doubt and clarity, they are all part of the same vast and unfolding landscape. Embrace the changes, both big and small, knowing that they are not just shaping your path, they are shaping the person you are becoming. The more you surrender to the flow, the more the journey becomes not only easier but richer, more fulfilling, and filled with possibilities you might never have imagined. So when the winds shift, let them carry you to new horizons. Don't fight them, let them be your guide. Chapter 10. The Eternal Flame. In the whirlwind of life's demands and distractions, it's easy to lose sight of what truly drives you. We're often pulled in different directions by the pressure to succeed, to meet expectations, or to conform to what others think we should be doing. The path can feel fragmented, a series of obligations and milestones, each one demanding more energy, more focus, more of your time. Yet amid all the noise, there lies something deeper, something more constant, that can carry you through the ups and downs, the eternal flame of purpose. It's the very core of who you are, fueled by your values and passion, and it's what keeps you grounded and moving forward even when the world around you feels uncertain. Values are the bedrock on which everything else in life is built. They are not just abstract concepts or ideals you read about in books. They are the principles that shape how you navigate the world, how you treat others, and how you respond to challenges. When you're clear on your values, you have a compass that directs you no matter where the road leads. This internal guidance system doesn't just help you make decisions. It also shapes how you react in moments of adversity. When you face uncertainty or a setback, it's your values that pull you back to center, reminding you who you are and what truly matters. Passion, on the other hand, is the fire that fuels the journey. It's the energy, the desire, and the excitement that you bring to your pursuits. Passion doesn't necessarily mean a grand, sweeping force. It can be quiet but steady, like the warmth of a fire that never goes out. When you're passionate about something, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like a calling, something you can't help but do, something that energizes you and gives your life meaning. It's the spark that lights up your path, that makes you feel alive and in sync with your purpose. Without passion, even the clearest values can feel hollow, and your efforts may lack direction. Together, values and passion create an unstoppable combination, one that not only drives you forward, but also keeps you connected to the essence of who you are. The challenge for many people is not in discovering their passion or their values. They are often already there, waiting to be recognized. The challenge lies in nurturing them, keeping that flame alive despite the distractions, the difficulties, and the mundane routines of everyday life. It's easy to lose touch with your inner fire, especially when life becomes overwhelming. But the beauty of this flame is that it doesn't need constant attention to survive. It simply needs to be remembered. By grounding yourself in your core beliefs and in what excites you, you can weather any storm without losing your way. To sustain this momentum, you must continuously return to the source of your passion and values. It's not a one-time exercise, but a daily practice. Whether through small rituals, quiet moments of reflection, or setting intentions that remind you of your larger mission. Even when things get tough and the challenges seem endless, you have to remember that the flame is still burning within you. The world might try to dim it with distractions, pressures, or doubts, but it can never fully extinguish the light you carry. The key is to be intentional about stoking that fire, feeding it with the things that bring you joy, satisfaction, and fulfillment. Sometimes life may take you down unexpected paths, and your values or passions might evolve over time. This is a natural part of growth, and rather than seeing it as a loss, it's important to view it as a deepening of your connection to your true self. The flame doesn't remain the same forever. It grows, shifts, and adapts, just like you. The important thing is not to lose sight of it. Whether your passion evolves into something new or your values shift as you learn and grow, the key is to stay anchored in what remains true for you. As long as you are connected to the eternal flame within you, it will lead you toward the next chapter, the next opportunity, and the next level of your journey. It's also essential to understand that the eternal flame isn't something you control. It's something that flows from within, something that arises when you are aligned with your deepest truths. When you're true to yourself, when you act in alignment with your values and passion, this flame burns brighter and with greater clarity. But when you veer off course, when you lose touch with your inner truths, the flame can flicker or wane. This is why it's important to regularly check in with yourself, to take the time to reflect, realign, and reconnect with your purpose. Just like a fire needs oxygen to burn, your soul needs space to breathe, to reflect, and to reconnect with the things that matter most. When you operate from this place of internal alignment, where your actions, your decisions, and your energy are all flowing from a place of authenticity and purpose, you become unstoppable. The outside world may try to sway you, but when your internal flame is burning bright, no amount of external pressure can dim it. You learn to trust yourself more, to listen to your inner voice more, and to act in accordance with your deepest desires and values. Sustaining momentum is not about pushing yourself endlessly or seeking external validation. It's about creating a life that is in harmony with your inner flame, where every step you take feels true, feels right, and feels deeply aligned with who you are. This is how you move through life with ease and confidence, no longer chasing after what you think you should be, but embracing what you truly are. The flame doesn't need to roar loudly to be powerful. It simply needs to exist, to be nurtured, and to guide you in the direction of your highest self. Keep tending to it, and it will keep leading you toward the future that is waiting to be created. Conclusion. You've now journeyed through the layers of your own self, peeling back the boundaries that once held you captive. The spark that was always within you has been rekindled, and the path ahead, once clouded with uncertainty, now appears clear and full of possibility. But this moment, the one where you feel empowered, awake, and ready, doesn't have to end here. In fact, this is where it begins. The work of self-discovery is not a destination. It's an ongoing process, a way of being. The choices you make each day, the way you show up for yourself, and the intention with which you navigate the world will continue to shape the life you create. You've learned to trust your inner compass, to listen to the whispers of your true desires, and to embrace the natural ebb and flow of change. Now, it's time to take that wisdom and put it into action. One decision, one step, one moment at a time. Remember, the world around you is constantly shifting. The winds of change will blow, sometimes softly, sometimes fiercely. But with the foundation you've built, one of awareness, purpose, and passion, you can weather any storm. More importantly, you can thrive within it. Your success doesn't depend on perfection or a flawless journey. It's about being aligned with your own truth, finding strength in your authenticity, and knowing that every choice, no matter how small, is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. The flame that burns inside you is eternal, but it's up to you to keep it alive, to nurture it, and to let it illuminate the way forward. With every day that passes, you have the opportunity to deepen your connection to yourself, to evolve, and to create a life that feels deeply fulfilling. The journey you've begun does not end here. It's just another step in the ever-unfolding adventure of becoming who you are meant to be. So go ahead, take the lessons you've uncovered, the insights you've gathered, and the strength you've found within yourself, and use them to craft the future you've always known you were capable of. The world is waiting for you to show up as the fullest version of yourself, and there's no better time than now to step into your power and make it happen.